everyone. Well, here we go again, the solo to Analog Kid on day 7 of 30 days of Lerxst here on my channel. Now, the solo to Analog Kid is one of Alex Lifeson's own personal favorites and is also much loved by many diehard Rush fans, despite it being from somewhat of a deep cut from the band's 1982 album, Signals. Now, as I noted and talked about yesterday, I'm going to talk about it again today, Rush were going through a transitional period with regards to their music in the early part of the 80s. The result of which, starting with the band's 1981 album, Moving Pictures, Geddy Lee had begun adding more and more synthesizer elements to the band's music. However, despite this, Alex's guitars on Moving Pictures were still pretty much front and center in the mix, and the synths were used somewhat sparingly or to simply enhance certain passages in the music. With Signals in 1982, that pretty much all changed. The synths were pretty much taking over, and Alex's guitar parts were starting to find themselves relegated to rather low in the mix rhythm parts. Sadly to me, with this mid-80s iteration of Rush, this development would only get worse, or better, I suppose, if you liked it, as the band progressed through the 80s. You know, much cleaner guitar tones, fewer and fewer of the classic Rush riffs, you know, only the odd solo here and there on many of these albums throughout the 80s, and fewer guitar-driven tracks overall. This would become the new normal throughout much of the latter half of the 80s. Signals, the main progenitor of this new Rush sound, despite this, was a great album, and the songs were strong overall. Though it was certainly no Moving Pictures, but you know, it's pretty difficult to follow up that masterpiece of an album with anything that could possibly be considered its equal. Though, you know, to be fair, I suppose, if they wanted to, they could have easily written Moving Pictures Part 2 as a follow-up album to Moving Pictures and forged onward with the exact same sound. But, you know, no doubt they figured, been there, done that, let's move on. You know, they were in the process of adapting themselves to a changing musical climate in the mid-80s, one has to think. You know, that said, there were a couple of fantastic guitar-driven tracks on Signals, the highlights being Digital Man and the fantastic Analog Kid, with its killer guitar solo and also a killer opening riff. One has to think that if Alex is being relegated to just 2 or 3 solos per album at this point, his thinking on that must have been that he's damn well gonna make them count. You know, that said, the solo to Analog Kid is Alex at his most chaotic. He's throwing down a damn statement on this one. Just a blistering solo with some cool use of what I can only assume is an octave pedal during the second half of this solo. Now, go find yourself any list of the greatest Alex Lifeson solos, and you're sure to find the solo to Analog Kid pretty high up on that list, especially on any underrated Alex Lifeson solo list. As like I previously stated, this track isn't necessarily one of Rush's more high-profile cuts from their catalog, but the solo itself absolutely slays, and it's great fun to play. Well, there you have it, day 7 of 30 days of Lerxst in the bag. If you enjoyed my cover of this one and this video in general, please hit that like button, as that would be awfully nice. Drop me a subscribe if you haven't done that already as well. Hit that notification bell so you know when I upload something new, and lately it's every day of the week. Hope you're well out there in your little guitar corner of the world, wherever that may find you, and we'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.